We are at Precision Planting's PTI Farm. Now this is basically a 400-acre outdoor agronomy classroom. You can learn all sorts of things about growing corn and soybeans. They've got trials going on with all sorts of different products and all sorts of different practices. Right over there, we got to run some planters this morning and do some cool planting with some high-speed planters, different kinds of planters and different kinds of tractors. We had a lot of fun. I want you to make sure you stick around until the end, because I don't know if you can see all this stuff right next to me. We are going to be doing a big giveaway. You could win everything right here in this cooler and the cooler as well. It's a huge giveaway, so we'll be announcing the winner of that at the end of the live stream today. So make sure you hang around until the end. I am here. I am 𝗙𝗿𝗏 from Dodge Brothers Farms in eastern Iowa. I'm going to introduce these two people as well. This is Alex and Erin. And we're going to go ahead and start off by just telling you a little bit about ourselves and why we're here. And then we're going to answer your questions. You guys have been submitting questions, and you still are right now. So I'll be getting questions live here and answering them and asking them to Alex and Erin as well. So why don't we go ahead and start with you, Erin. You want to introduce yourself and say where you're from and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Erin Holbert. I live in West Central Indiana, where I farm with my dad, and I have a YouTube channel.
I am Alex Rusch. I'm from Vincennes, Indiana. I farm with my family, and I have a YouTube channel too.
And I'm 𝗙𝗿𝗏, and I'm from eastern Iowa, and I just learned how to say Alex's last name yesterday, even though I've known him for 2 years. I've always said Rush, and he's like, it's Rush. He was very nice about it, but oh well. I am from eastern Iowa. I farm as an employee. I actually work for a corn and soybean farm. We also have hogs on the farm, and then after hours, my brother and I have beef cattle, and we raise grass hay for a lot of horse and pony customers and some cattle people as well. So that's who we are. We have partnered with Precision Planting this year with our social media platforms, and it's been great so far. We've had a lot of fun getting to try products and do different things. We've all had relationships with Precision for a while. So we're going to dig into this Q&A now. You guys have asked some great questions already. I'm excited to get going on this. So here's the first question. As more automation is added to tractors, do you think farmers will try to increase the number of hours that they spend in the cab?
I personally think that the only ways you can possibly spend more hours in a tractor cab is to sleep in it. So unless they start making it to where it'll completely drive itself, I don't think it's humanely possible.
It needs a bathroom in there too.
Yeah. What about you, Erin?
Well, I'd have to agree with you. We already spend the max amount of hours that we possibly can in a tractor. So all that would do is make our lives a little bit easier.
I think the auto steer for me has made it easier to do a good job when you're already tired, but it's also made it to where you can almost sort of fall asleep while you get to a waterway and you're like, whoa, what was that? Because you're so at ease. You're like, it's driving itself. Everything's fine. I got nothing to worry about. All right, the questions just keep coming in, so we'll keep going through it. All three of you did the flagging emergence trial this spring. Were you surprised by anything you saw? I was very surprised, so I'm gonna answer my own question first, and then I'll let you guys talk. So I made a tactical error with our emergence flagging test in that I waited for the last field that I planted because it was the perfect place I wanted to do it. So that was the last corn to come out of the ground, and we actually had almost a 50% failure with that hybrid. And so it wasn't the planter's fault, it wasn't the tillage fault. There was something wrong with the germ in that hybrid. And so my emergence, rather than taking 2 or 3 days, actually took 12 days, and it still wasn't all up. And I was so embarrassed, but like, we're gonna learn a lot because we've got some plants that are not just 1 leaf behind, we're like 4 leaves behind. So it's gonna be crazy. What did you guys learn? I hope you had better luck than me.
So I did the exact opposite as you. I actually flagged our first field of corn we planted. It was on our best field, and I figured if anything was to go wrong, that would give like the best indication of what we could improve in the future. And I was kind of surprised at how many day 3 and day 4 day plants we had. So definitely room for improvement there.
Do you see how much thought she put into that? That's like, I'll do the smart thing. In case something goes wrong, I'll do the first field. What did you do, Alex?
So I kind of had a mess. I went through 3 different kits the first time trying to do it. One time we had a windy day and it blew all my flags out of the ground. The next day I had flagged it wrong, and then the next time I tried it, I forgot to put flags in one day. So finally I got a good test, and I even got to test some I even got to use it for a trial with row cleaners. And I did find that where the row cleaners was, they came up a lot better. So
you can see who the professional is here. She actually has a lot of agronomy background.
Yeah.
We're just a couple of farm boy goobers. We don't know what we're doing. All right, next question. What do you guys enjoy the most about interacting on social media?
My favorite thing is being able to interact with people all over the world. You don't realize how different farming is in different places of the world until you truly get on social media and you truly dig into it. Like, even where Erin is, she is not that far from me, and there's a lot of things they do different that we do different.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. I mean, just seeing how different people do things. And then I feel like I've met so many different types of farmers. Like tomorrow I'm going up to tour a cranberry farm from someone I met on social media. So it's just opened a lot of doors.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I would agree. Like, just the friends that I've made. I have a good friend now who lives in New Zealand. His name is Tim. He's probably watching right now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, how you doing? But I would have not met any of these people all over the world if it wouldn't have been for social media. And it is just so cool when you can get together with people either virtually online or, you know, way back in prehistoric times when we used to have farm conventions and they get everybody to get together in the same building. It's just crazy how different everybody's situations and practices are, but we're all shooting for the same goal, you know, and the same reason. All right, the questions keep rolling. What? Okay. Alex, so does anybody at your farm, now speak up so everybody can hear you, does anybody at your farm have a problem with being recorded? Is it ever like, oop, I can't use this footage because there's an agronomist here that didn't want to be recorded and I gotta be careful about asking people? Do you ever run into that?
I do all the time. I mean, literally all the time. We have multiple different people that work for us, so it makes it hard for me to be able to film in the shop especially. And I love to film in the shop, I love to work in the shop, but it makes it a lot harder with not having everybody completely on board with it. There's people that like to keep their lives private and to themselves. I just kind of get nervous filming in front of people. So I know in my videos, it probably always looks like I'm the only one that farms, but it's just because I like to do the filming when I'm alone.
People think that like I'm a one-woman show because no one else on the farm likes to be filmed. I'm like, no, trust me, like I'm not the one doing all this work.
As soon as somebody shows up, you just put your camera away.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything. Yeah, I don't know. But here we are live, so that's fun, right? This isn't gonna get edited. Oh, hey, there's a question for Carl. Look at that. Carl, what is your favorite advantage to using precision planting? Okay, my favorite advantage to using precision planting is the knowledge that you gather. When we first added the very first piece of precision equipment to our planter, it didn't change anything that we did. It just showed us what we were already doing. It was the 2020 Seed Sense and then the iPad. And I've showed you guys that on my videos before where it's mapping out all of the singulation and the downforce and all that stuff. And we found out at that point, man, we'd been doing everything as well as we knew how to do, setting the planter as perfectly as we thought we could. And we were kind of doing a pitiful job, especially at downforce. I was not keeping the planter in the ground, you know, more than 75 or 80% of the time, which is a huge deal. So I turned my air up on the airbags, fixed that problem. But I would say products, you know, there's all sorts of products that can improve how you do different things. But I just think in general, the real-time knowledge of having that, okay, I'm doing a good job and here's the proof. I've got out and dug seed. I know it's telling me the truth, and you kind of have that information all the time. I mean, do you guys want to answer this too? I know they targeted me, but
I did find it interesting to, especially to come here and to learn what we did so far, and we aren't even done for the day. Like, I got a lot of things to go back home and fix.
You're gonna put your gauge wheels a little closer to your disc openers, maybe? All right, this one is for Erin. From your agronomist background, how important do you think consistent emergence is?
I would say that that would be the number one important thing overall, just because that's how it's going to set you off on the right foot or the wrong foot. And it can only go down from there. So you really want to get a good start.
Once it's up, you can't fix it.
No, you can't.
Way too late. Way too late. Okay. I'll start with you on this one. Is driving the equipment at the PTI Farm really all that they advertise it to be?
No, that is not all that this place is. It sure was fun though for me to get out of a John Deere and get into something a little bit different, I will say. But no, I mean, like I said before, there's so many things that I've learned today alone that now I know I gotta go back home and I gotta figure out a way to fix it. And then the agronomy tour is gonna be my favorite by far, because I'm gonna get to bring back things to our farm that they've implemented here and that they found that works through tons and tons of research, and I'll be able to use it at home on my own farm.
I got to drive the Fendt with the awesome big giant planter behind it and go 10 miles an hour. So that was pretty fun. I didn't have time to put that on Instagram this morning because I was trying to go 10 miles an hour.
I'm pretty jealous. I didn't get a chance to do that one, so.
Maybe you could sneak out there and see if the keys are in it after
Right.
the thing is all over today. But you drove the John Deere, right?
I did.
What did you think? Was it fun?
It was really fun. It was a little bit different than the deers we have like on our farm, so it was a little different.
Did you have a Gen 3 monitor in there?
Yes, we did, which was really fun. We only have Gen 2s on our farm, so really looking forward to that in the future.
Yeah, there was a lot of things going on. I was controlling automated downforce on the closing system on the furrow force. We were applying liquid. It was just water. But yeah, there was a lot of things happening and it was awesome. Okay, wow, I don't know who asked this question, but I was actually thinking about this. I was like, this is a question that I might ask if nobody ever asks it. If farming and ag were not part of your life, what would you be doing? I've thought about this a lot. So like, you know, I'll answer it first and then you guys can. So like, I really love farming. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old when I sat on my dad's lap for the first time and steered the old Oliver tractor when we were pulling the grinder mixer to go feed the pigs that lived outside at that point. And I have been addicted to farming ever since, and I'd be crushed if I couldn't farm anymore. But there are so many jobs that have to do with farming that I would probably find myself in if suddenly the farming was just taken out from under me. I mean, I've actually started trucking corn. We bought a semi at the farm that I work for. I've started hauling corn and I really love driving the semi. I might be trucking something in the ag sector, but I think that I would gravitate towards any ag thing, whether I was farming or not.
I think that with me, being me, I would probably end up being an applicator somewhere. Or I would go to school and actually get a good agronomy degree and become an agronomist.
Erin could probably help you find a school.
Yeah, no kidding.
I've got some suggestions. So I would have been a large animal vet, which I guess is still the ag industry. So if I had to do completely away with the ag industry, I would have gone to medical school.
That's awesome. That's great.
I answered that wrong.
Okay, Alex, I'll start with you on this one. When did you start your YouTube channel? And how long does it take you to make a video? Two-part question.
So I started my channel back in 2018, I do believe. It was either 2018 or 2019. And I'd say for me, at first, it was taking me anywhere from 7 to 10 hours to make a video. And now a good video that I can kind of piece together and throw together real quick that doesn't have a lot of B-roll to it, I can have a video put together in an hour, hour and a half.
So I'm the newbie here. I just started my YouTube channel less than a year ago, last fall. So I'm still working on editing quickly. So it takes about a couple hours, 2-3 hours.
So I also started in 2018 in October. I didn't even mean to start a YouTube channel. My cousin was coming to visit and bring her kids from Ohio, and they're like, well, their kids have never seen a combine. I'm like, well, you're coming the 13th of October. I guarantee we'll be combining. It'll be a lot of fun. And guess what? There was water running down the road ditches that day. We hadn't even backed the combine out of the shed yet. Everything was flooded and mudded. It was terrible. And I was like, well, here's the combine. This is what it looks like. And so I recorded a horrible video with my phone. I'm like holding it vertical, shaking all over the place, pointing it at all different parts of the combine. And I was like, well, I'm gonna try to send this to her. And it was too big to email, too big to text. So I uploaded it to YouTube, sent her the link. And then like 100 people watched it and they were like, hey, how does the grain cart work? And I just started making more videos and I just kind of got addicted to it. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, I've met a lot of cool people and I'm gonna keep doing it. But it takes me anywhere from 6 to 10 hours to put a video together. By the time I get all the footage off different cameras and the drone and stuff and get it all, I edit it on my phone, believe it or not, so that I can just pull my phone out wherever I'm working and do some editing. So what do you use computers, iPads, or?
I use my iPad. I mean, I can do it literally anywhere. I have a mount in my equipment, so if I'm in my equipment, I can even just sit there and I can do it while I'm going across the field. Real simple, real easy, and really fast, and plus I have a data plan. So I can I can put it out there even sitting in the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere.
Which is good because I think Alex is gonna like sell his house because he spent so much time in his equipment that he's just gonna start sleeping in there too. And do you use a computer? I forget, or your phone?
I do everything on my phone.
Your phone. Yep, it's just always with you. It's easy. It's easy. Okay, here's a good one. What is some advice that you would give a younger farmer just starting out?
I would say just go for it. Take the opportunities, ask for advice. Even if it's a stupid question, it's better to ask and get an answer than to do something wrong.
The thing about agriculture anymore now is it's very hard to get into later on. But if you really work for it and you really push, you can do anything that you ever want to achieve. You just got to do your research, a lot of research, and figure out exactly how to do it. And you got to, that's all it is. It takes time. Even building a farm in general takes time.
I would say if you're starting out like with no land or no real access to land, it's hard to just go and say, I'm going to rent 500 acres, because who's going to let you rent it? And you don't have any equipment. You really, if you're going to get into row crop farming, big equipment kind of stuff, you really got to find somebody that you can kind of like side up to and say, hey, like, I'm willing to help you. If you're willing to sort of like help me by letting me use your equipment or helping me find some ground to rent. You also have to be willing to do some stuff that some people might not want to be. My brother and I had almost no access to ground. So the very first thing we started doing was mowing waterways and baling hay on the waterways and selling that. That's how we started our business. And you just, nobody wanted to do the waterways because it was so rough and there's towel holes everywhere and nobody was doing them. So it was almost free rent. So you just kind of got to do what you can do. And you really got to love it. I mean, it's not just, oh, I think farming is glamorous, so I'll do it. You really really have to want to do it. Oh boy, Alex. This is a family show, Alex. What is the problem that annoys you the most at planting time?
Whew. For one, we love our family to death, and sometimes that is always one of the main factors that comes into play. We all got to get in a piece of equipment and go. We're running so much equipment that whenever you go out to the field, it's, okay, this broke down over here, this broke down over there. You are running from field to field to field all the time, trying to get just, it's crazy. The first week, we call it a certain week because of how it is and how horrible it is. But once you get going, the second week after that, you're good to go. Everything seems to work perfect. And
everything works perfect in the shop. And then you get out to the field, it's going to rain like 2 days later and nothing works. I got locked out of the tractor this year for an hour because the door latch broke on the 𝗙𝗿𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏. And so I didn't have my phone with me. It was in the tractor. It was crazy. We had to take the pins out of the back window and take them off. The planter vacuums were still screaming away. And I'm standing there like, what am I going to do? This is the dumbest breakdown ever. All right, Erin, this one is for you.
Okay.
Do you actually pack and ship every piece of your clothing from Heart of the Midwest yourself? Or do you have somebody else, do you farm that out to somebody else?
No, I do that all myself because I figured farming didn't keep me busy enough and I needed a second full-time job.
Who likes sleep?
Right, it's overrated.
Have you ever packed clothing in the tractor cab?
Yes, I do. Especially at harvest time, I do write all my thank you notes in the grain cart, everything. That's what auto steer's for.
Combine's radioing in, Erin, where are you at?
All the time.
Ran the hopper over. Sorry, I'm writing a thank you note.
I get yelled at a lot.
You just turn the radio down?
I get in a lot of trouble when I turn it off.
Okay, let's do this one. Carl, what will be the next precision planting product you add to your planter? Okay, well, first, as I stated before, I am an employee at the farm, so it's not always 100% my decision what we're going to do. I'm not writing the check. But the two products that I'm the most excited about right now that I would like to take a look at in the future are the speed tubes, because we might not need to go 10 miles an hour, but the spacing in the seed tube is just perfect once it gets in there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back about 2 or 3 YouTube videos, and I went to a show where they had them set up. I showed off a speed tube and what it is. Really, really cool. I like that. I did like the furrow force, but I think the Reveal row cleaners are really, really awesome as well. We had 2 of them on our planner this year. And at the end of the year, when I was evaluating all the data on the iPad, every metric that you're measuring, singulation, spacing, ride quality, all of those things, the number 1 row was always one of those 2 units that had the Reveal row cleaners on it. And that's amazing to me. So yeah, those 2 items, Speed Tube and Reveal. I know this was my question, but either of you guys have like one product or something that you're like, man, this is cool?
I really do want to see the speed tubes, and I am thoroughly going to try to get my father to get it.
Maybe he's watching right now.
Maybe he is.
Come on. What about you, Erin?
I really like the Reveal row cleaners. I think, like you said, it makes a huge difference and could really help.
Yeah, and they look cool too, right?
Exactly.
Okay. What should a person expect for their PTI Farm experience? What's the structure of the day like? Well, it started out real good, coffee and donuts, right? Because it's a farm meeting. I'm not just saying this. This is a top-notch, like, customer-oriented event. Like, it's all about farmers, all about teaching us things. Everything that's displayed around here, you can stand around and look at all the different displays, the ears of corn from the emergence trials. There's things to stand around and look at while you're drinking coffee in the morning. But you're gonna drink coffee, you're gonna hang out, you're gonna get a little opening session. And then they broke us into smaller groups so we could go around and have time to interact one-on-one with the presenters. We haven't actually done the second half of our tour yet. We did the equipment. We were out with the planter in the tent this morning talking about how to maintain your planter, how to get a perfect furrow in different conditions. And then this afternoon, we're doing the agronomy tour, which I'm sure it is. I hope it's going to be a lot of riding around on a tram because it's hot today. I don't feel like walking.
Honestly, I think I'm more excited for the agronomy part. I'm really looking forward to this afternoon.
Oh yeah, and by the way, did I tell you we drove planters over there? Because that is a highlight as well. If you've never gotten to plant at 10 miles an hour, you will when you come here.
Just expect the unexpected here. They're gonna tell you things you never even thought of.
like your gauge wheels, right?
Yeah.
Alex is like, is that really how you're supposed to set up your gauge wheels? I'm like, dude, yes. And Alex goes, I think my entire state is doing it wrong. All right. What is the biggest impact on productivity in the last 10 years? Productivity. Well, to me, 𝗙ście has been huge, you know?
Yes.
RTK, we are not having to, back in the day, you used to have to stop right when you hit the end rows and lift the planter up. A lot of times it took the planter a while to come up. You'd stop when you hit the end rows, pick it up, then you'd turn around, drop it down, and then take off. And the same at waterways, if you weren't crossing them at an angle. If you were, you're planting corn all through the waterway. But now, the planter just shuts off right when you hit the end rows, you lift it up, you whirl around, hit the auto steer, and away you go. You can just watch so much stuff while you're planting too. You used to have to stare at the marker. Am I driving the tractor down the mark properly? And now you're like looking at stuff and you're like, well, maybe I should look forward once in a while, make sure there's something up there. But you can look at every piece of the planter and make sure everything's working the way it is. So I think GPS auto steer and RTK has just been huge.
The thing that I think is the biggest of all is speed. You know, years ago, they was thinking going 5.5 mile an hour to 6 mile an hour was a big deal. Now we can have planters that we can run up to 12 mile an hour. That takes out the need for having to get a bigger planter.
Or another guy and another planter.
Or another guy and another planter. You can just go faster.
I would have to say auto steer and section control. Like you said, it just makes it, you can go through a field so much faster than having to set everything up field by field when you get there. And it also makes me look like a much better operator than I am.
Look at how straight you planted, Erin.
Yes.
And productivity being the key word in that question, you wouldn't be able to write thank you letters to all of your clothing.
Exactly. Yeah. I've had to plant a couple fields without it the past couple years, and they have not been pretty, and they took me twice as long as they should have.
So I'm going to submit a question right now. What caused you to start your clothing business? And did you start it after you were already on YouTube? Like, hey, I could do, or how did this happen?
So I did the clothing business first. So I noticed like there were so many cute shirts for livestock people with pigs and cattle and stuff.
We're all right too.
Yeah, you're okay. But there was nothing for the grain farmers. So after a couple of years, I was like, no one's making these shirts. So I went ahead and did it.
Pretty successful too. So that was before YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple years before.
Now you just keep adding more things to
do.
Erin is a busy person. Okay, what is the next big thing you're doing between now and harvest? I don't even know if I want to tell you because it's kind of a competition now. We have already got our combine pretty much gone through and ready to go because we've been told that there's going to be a possible parts shortage this fall. So if you're waiting until 3 weeks before you're going to combine to get it out of the shed and go, hey, we need to order chains and belts and filters and stuff, you might not get them in time to get your combine ready. So we've got the combine pretty much ready. We've got all the stuff purchased that we need to get it ready. And right now, the planes are flying over our cornfields, and the 𝗙gie that our neighbor has is going through the corn, spraying fungicide and insecticide, killing rootworm beetles. You just watched our YouTube video that we put out on Sunday about the rootworm beetle traps. So that's what we're managing right now. And then praying for rain because we're really dry. We need, if we're going to have test weight, which equates to bushels, we're going to have some more rain to finish our crop out. What about you guys?
We're running irrigations right now like crazy. We still got about another 2 to 3 weeks worth of irrigating at least.
What's irrigation?
Watering.
Yeah,
we need some water. And then on top of that, the guys are getting the combines ready to go. We're switching over new heads. And then on top of that, we also got to make sure that we got semis ready, and even the elevators got to be looked through. Grain elevators got to be looked through. So they've been working on it slowly and surely, but we'll get there.
Pretty much just getting everything ready for harvest. Combine's ready to go. We do have the parts ordered. We just got to do the work. We've got a good amount of work to do on our grain setup. So that'll take a while.
Are you going to sneak in a last-minute vacation? Because once you get in the grain cart, you won't get out.
Yes, I am.
That's good. That's good to hear. So, you guys ready for this? How do you guys not let social media consume your life? I don't know. Do I not let it consume my life? So it's hard. You have to, for me, I have to just like leave the phone in another room for a while because, you know, when you're getting DMs on Instagram all the time, or you're trying to, you know, you're like, man, I should be working on my next edits for my next video, or I'm replying to comments. It gets to be a lot, and you feel like, oh, I got to respond to this right away. I got to answer this question because I really want to help educate people about farming. There's just so many people who have an honest desire to know what we do and why we do it the way we do. I want to help educate them, and so when somebody's asking great questions, I'm like, ooh, it's 11 o'clock or midnight, but like, I got to answer these questions. And sometimes you just got to put it down, you know? A lot of times after I post a YouTube video, I just won't even use my phone the next day. Like I'm not replying to comments. I'm not even filming anything I do. I need a day off to just farm because we're farming primarily and videoing and putting it online secondarily. And sometimes I think people can forget that we aren't like primarily YouTubers and just farming for fun. Like the farming is what we're doing.
Right.
We're trying to fit this into it as well.
My biggest thing with it is I am very forgetful about where I put my phone at sometimes.
Or your GoPro batteries.
Or my GoPro batteries and stuff like that. So it's really good to do that. Whenever I fill up my sprayer or fill up a planter or something like that, I do leave my phone in the cab. I don't take it with me. It gives me kind of a little bit of a wait time from it. It keeps me from it. I can still keep connected, but I still have to have that sense of normality that, hey, I'm working. So
what do you do, Erin?
I just don't reply to anyone. I try, but I think the best thing that happened was when I realized that it wasn't possible for me to reply to everyone. So I try to answer questions and things, but I also have to have my own life and enjoy it.
I am now realizing that I can't reply to everyone.
Yeah, I don't want to live my life on a phone.
Oh, that's my brother. Hey, I'm on a live stream. I'll talk to you later. Yeah. Wait, is my phone consuming? I'm not even lying. Look, he's calling again. Like, not kidding at all. Well, I kind of think people are probably ready to be done. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up because we promised a winner here, and I don't want to make them sit another half an hour and listen to us have fun. We'll talk the rest of the afternoon by ourselves. So we do have a winner of this amazing prize package, and it is Megan Faber. Or Faber? I hope it's Faber or Faber. F-A-B-E-R. So Megan, all you need to do is nothing. They'll get in touch with you and get your information and get this sent to you. You're gonna love all this stuff. You can't see 90% of the stuff that's in this cooler. I have some of the stuff, but I'm a little jealous of the rest of it. So congratulations. Also, if you would be interested in coming to this place, to the PTI Farm, just check out precisionplanting.com and you can sign up for your own visit. There's still tours open this summer, but get on it because it's gonna disappear. It's probably gonna get all filled up and you don't wanna miss out on this. It's actually a really great experience. So we've had a great time hanging out with you today. I mean, I'm speaking for you guys. Have you had fun?
Oh yeah, I've had a blast.
I'm
had
good.
some fun. Literally my first live stream. Never did it before, but I think maybe they weren't recording. They've all just been smiling back the whole time. But anyway, thanks for being here with us today. Check out Precision Planting if you want to come to the PTI Farm, and we've really enjoyed our time with you. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.